Hey, Renter Retires, it's Adam Schroeder here, and today we're going to talk about why you need to raise your rent every year. Alright, before we get started with today's video, I want to remind everybody, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, click the notifications bell so you don't miss any of the content we're putting out as we try to make you the best possible investor you can be. And at the end of the video, if you've liked it, please click the like button and let other people know that you enjoyed the video. And as always, if you have any questions for us or any video topics you'd like for us to cover, leave them in the comments below and we will get to it as soon as possible. So let's get into it. Today, I'm going to talk about why you need to raise your rent every year. Now, I know you might be thinking, Adam, every year? That seems a little excessive, but let me tell you something, it's not. Because guess what? Your expenses are going up every year. We know that property taxes, well, not getting any cheaper, right? Taxes are going up every year. Your repair people, well, they want to make a living too. So their rates usually increase a little bit every year, or parts increase a little bit every year. Your homeowner's insurance, as your home gets older, it goes up just a little bit every year, and these things start to add up. So you have two choices: raise the rent, take a lower return on your investment. Those are your choices. Now, the question I would ask you is, these things are going to happen, so why wouldn't you pass it over to your tenant? Why would you not do that? The simple fact is, they're living there. It's part of the situation. They should know their rent's going to go up a little bit every year. Now, I'm not talking about raising it, 10, 20% every year. No, I'm talking about 2, 3, maybe 4%. Maybe some year, like COVID year, you get to raise it 10 or 20% to get it to market value. But I'm talking about just roughly keeping pace with the market value. If you look at market rents, look, just because somebody signed a lease 1 year does not mean that suddenly that they deserve to get a below market rent from now on. We owe them what I talked about before. There are things that we owe them and there are things that we don't owe them. And we don't owe them an under market rent. You need your tenant to cover the increases in costs so that you can continue to get a good return on your investment and make sure this property is doing what you need it to do for you. Also, keep in mind, a $20 or $30 a month increase is not going to drive your tenant away. Nobody's going to move over $20 a month. Sure, they may not love it. They may not love the idea of, I got to pay an extra $20 a month. Man, I don't like that. But they're not going to move because of it. I mean, if you ask me for $20 a month to avoid moving, I'll pay it happily. Now, what happens if you wait a few years? Let's say suddenly you wait 5 years and you could have been raising the rent $30 a month for those 5 years. They're not going to move over $30 a month, but they might move over $150 a month. Think about it that way. Waiting to increase the rent drastically increases the chance of a tenant turnover, because suddenly they're going to say, why is this greedy landlord asking me for more money? And that's a whole lot more money. It's not just $20 or $30. It's $100, $150. That's a big jump. I'll go somewhere else. I'll take my business elsewhere. So you want it to incrementally be there so your tenant gets used to the idea. Every year, I pay a little bit more in rent. Just like you've gotten used to the idea. Every year, I pay a little bit more in homeownership. I pay a little bit more in property taxes. It's just the way of the world. Things get more expensive. That's inflation, right? That's part of what happens. Also, remember, you are leveraged in these deals. So a 2 or 3% rent increase isn't just a 2 or 3% return increase. It's a 10 or 15% return on rent increase, because you are keeping most of this profit. Your property taxes are going up, but probably not $250 a year. Your homeownership's going up, but probably not $250 a year. You are keeping a good chunk of this money. That means your returns get better over time if you keep up with the market rents. That's a big if, because a lot of people don't like doing it. So when you're leveraged, these increases drastically increase your returns. If you want to go back to it, Zach and I did a podcast interview with one of our mortgage lenders, Aaron Chapman, a couple months ago. I highly suggest you watch the video. He breaks it down and shows you exactly how fantastic a small rent increase can be. And also remember, being on the high end of rent in your neighborhood is not a bad thing. You have the nicest house on the block. You have a property that has been made turnkey. You have a property that is essentially, as some of my tenants have put it when they've talked to my property managers, this is like moving into a new house. Yes, it is. And guess what? You're going to pay for that. Yes, I'm on the high side of rent in most of the neighborhoods I'm in, but guess what? My houses are worth it. The houses are worth the rent that you are asking. You need to believe that because it is true. And if you believe it and you market it as such, tenants will believe. There's nothing wrong with being on the high side of rent in your neighborhood. Now, you don't want to be 3 times the rent of everybody else and trying to get that. But just being on the high side is not a problem because you are providing them with a good quality product that is worth what they're paying. And that is the important thing. You have a house that is worth what they're paying in rent. And your house is becoming more valuable over time. And all you are doing is keeping up with the market, making sure that your investment continues to produce at a rate that you need to make your life better. And guess what? It's still a good deal for your tenant. They are still getting a good place to live at a reasonable price. They don't get a drastically under market home or anything like that when it comes to the rent price. They're paying market rent for a better than market house. Just keep that in mind. You're doing your job, they're doing their job, but every year you should be asking for at least a small rent increase. If you can get a big one because of the way the market turned, great, but condition your tenants to pay a rent increase every year. I highly recommend it. It will help you drastically in the long run. I hope this video has been helpful for you. If it has, please click the like button. Let us know that it was a video worth watching. And as always, if you have any comments, leave them below. We will get to them as soon as possible, or we'll put out a video that you ask us to put out. Check us out at renttoretirement.com. That's renttoretirement.com. You can see our inventory there. You can schedule a call with one of our investment strategists as we help you prepare your portfolio to grow, to help connect you with real estate team members that you need. Anything you need, we're here to help. It's renttoretirement.com. Really appreciate you taking the time to watch the video. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. See you on the next video.
Thanks for watching the Rent to Retirement YouTube channel. Check out some of our other videos, like this one, or this one here.